My name's Ellesse and I'm part of the amazing STEM response team here at the University of Wolverhampton. As part of our biology sessions today, I'll be teaching you about cell structure. So we're going to cover the bases of animal cells and plant cells. We're going to recap what you should already know from your GCSEs and look a bit deeper into different structures and their functions too. So starting off with the very basics, there are two types of cells. You can have prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Now, prokaryotic cells are our simple, single-celled organisms. They're not as complex as eukaryotic organisms, and they have free-floating genetic material inside of them, so they don't have a nucleus. And these can be seen in organisms such as bacteria. Our eukaryotic cells are much more complex organisms. So they're your animals and your plants and your fungi, and these do have a nucleus and a lot of other structures in there as well. But importantly though, both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have organelles. And organelles is just a key word for the structures within those cells. And we're going to take a quick look at those now. So as we said just, in our prokaryotic cells, these are the cells which have no nucleus. You can see in this diagram that the DNA is all in the middle and it's not confined. Sometimes you can get rings of DNA, and these are called plasmids. And you can see there the plasmids are floating around within the cytoplasm. They also have a cell wall, but not made of cellulose like you'll see in the plant cell later, and they have a flagellum. And this flagellum is just to aid in the cell's movement. And now here is a comparison between eukaryotic cells. These are the most common animal cells and plant cells, which you may have already seen during your GCSE studies. There are different organelles in each one of these cells, but let's look at the ones that you should be familiar with and the ones that are present in both cells. So we have our nucleus, and this is a structure that contains our genetic material and our DNA. We then have our cytoplasm. Now this cytoplasm contains enzymes, which speeds up chemical reactions within the cell. Moving on then to our cell membrane, which both of these cells have as well. The cell membrane just holds that cell together and controls what goes in and out of the cell. And then we have our mitochondria, which provides energy for the cell using glucose and oxygen through respiration. So these are the similar organelles inside both our plant cells and our animal cell. But we do have a few extra ones that are present in the plant cell. These are chloroplasts, cell wall, and the vacuole. Now the cell wall has a similar job to the cell membrane, but it's much more of a supportive structure and it's made from cellulose. The chloroplasts are where photosynthesis happens, and they contain an enzyme called chlorophyll, and this is also what makes a plant green in colour. And finally, our vacuole contains the sap of our plants. So these are all the basic structures and organelles of the animal cell and our plant cell that we should have already gone through during our GCSE studies, and just to recap your brain on these. We're going to look at each plant cell and animal cell now in a tiny bit more detail and explore some of the organelles that you'll be coming across in your A-level studies or your B.Tech studies. So these are the ones that we looked at just. We have our nucleus, our mitochondria, our cytoplasm and our cell membrane. But as you can see now, there are quite a few different organelles that we're going to mention within your further studies as well. First of all, within your nucleus, you have your nucleolus, and this is the part that makes RNA. Also in your nucleus, you have the chromatin, and these are parts of the cell's DNA itself. Moving on, you'll see we have our rough endoplasmic reticulum, also known as rough ER and there's a smooth ER also. Now, these both produce proteins for the cell, but the difference between the two is that the rough ER contains an organelle called a ribosome. Next, we have our Golgi apparatus and Golgi vesicle. Now, these process and package proteins and lipids within the cell, and the vesicles carry those around the cell. We then have our centrosome, which is a structure involved in cell division. And you can learn more about cell division from our other cell division session in biology. We then have our vacuole, and this helps remove any cellular waste, and the lysome helps break down the waste using enzymes. So that's just a more in-depth view at our animal cell. Let's take a look at our plant cell. So again, these are the ones that we talked about earlier, the basics. These are some more that we've gone over within the animal cell, like the rough ER and the nucleolus. But there is one more in particular that's different and not included within the animal cell, and this is the amyloplast. Now, the amyloplast makes and stores starch within the cell. So that is just a brief overview of the kind of detail you'll be going into when you explore different types of cells in your further education studies, either in your A-levels or your BTECs. If you want to learn more, please feel free to view our other biology sessions in this playlist. We hope you enjoyed them all.